أوكي، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Today, inshallah ta'ala, last time we had a homework for everyone. We didn't get a private message from the sisters. The homework was, um, say it again, the homework. Okay. So it was who's Ubadah ibn Samit, and how old was he when he reverted to Islam, his main job, where was he buried, his main description. And another question was, what's the difference between a musnad and a book called Musnad and a Sunan? And who was Ahmad ibn Hanbal? Did anyone do the homework yesterday, Sister Rehab or Aisha?
Um, Honestly, I started, but I didn't write it. I can tell you a
Okay,
little bit about the
okay,
Ubadah ibn Samit.
okay. Sister Aisha, did you do it?
Assalamu alaikum, Ustazah.
What?
I couldn't watch the last recording. I didn't
Okay,
watch
you
the last
didn't see my
recording.
recording. Okay. I'll do a screenshot for the for the homework, and I'll send it on the WhatsApp right now so I do not forget. Okay.
Okay.
So we will be doing it inshallah for next class, and we will discuss um, what we just said. So it's in bad handwriting, but I'm doing it in case. I'm gonna do a screenshot for it in case I forget to send it to you. Okay? So this is number one, and this is number two. Okay, so I'm gonna do a fast screenshot for it for you, inshallah, next time, so I don't forget to send it to you. Okay? There, done, and send. Okay? So this is the homework for next time. Since we forgot to do it, I'll be adding another one for today as well, inshallah ta'ala. And يعني we'll see what's يعني how you do in this homework, inshallah ta'ala. Today we'll be talking about Dajjal, and we talked last time, so 266 last time we were at 270. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see the screen. Yeah, that's about it. A little bit less. Okay. Um, okay, we saw this one. We said that. Okay. And we're going up to the saddest. Okay, the falsehood of his claim to lordship. Okay, so this is where we are right now for today, inshallah ta'ala. We'll be explaining that and going up talking about al-Masih al-Dajjal. Okay, first of all, he will be claiming Dajjal, as we said before. First of all, he'll be claiming that he is a person that will be fixing around the earth. And he's only going to stay for 40 days. He's not the idea of him fixing and doing you know يعني humanitarian fixing and stuff like that is not going to be very long. It's going to be flipping immediately into calling himself a Lord and calling himself a divine and a يعني calling himself to be worshipped. طيب let's read this paragraph and then let's read the hadith after it, and let's discuss these things together. Yeah, okay. You want to, Sister Aisha, you want to read the first paragraph? These are the attributes of the dead, attributes in which there are many shortcomings. Go ahead, Ufti.
If these are the attributes of the Dajjal, that attributes in which there are many shortcomings, then how can this weak creature claim to be a Lord? How will claim that? He will claim that he is the Lord of mankind. but the Lord of mankind will not be seen in this world. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Know that no one among you will see his Lord until he dies. Moreover, he will be physically unsound with obvious deformities, including his being one-eyed." Concerning that, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Allah cannot be confused with anyone else. Allah is not one-eyed." And he pointed to his eyes with his hand. But the pseudo-Christ Dajjal will be blind in his right eye, as if his eye is a floating grave.
Yeah.
Another of his defective attributes is that he will be afhaj, will walk with his toes turned in.
Yeah.
His calves or his thighs will be too far apart. Or it is said that this means pigeon-toed with the heels too far apart, or that the legs are somewhat crooked.
Yeah, crooked.
Ibn
Yeah.
Ibn
Ibn
al-Arabi
al-Arabi.
was right when he said, "From the various defective attributes of the Dajjal, it's clear that he cannot even rid himself of these defects, and that he is subjugated with regard to his physical shape." He meant that if he were a lord, he would be able to remove the shortcoming in his body. The fact that
Exactly.
he's unable to do so indicates that he is subjugated to the Lord of the worlds and is unable to rid himself of his defects.
So now, right over here, the writer is telling us, and also according to very many hadith that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the writer over here is telling us is why can we say some of the logical points or elements or we can say about him is, first of all, if he were to be a god, he is supposed to be he is supposed to be perfect in his physical appearance and in his creation, yet he is not. He has both eyes that are not normal. And if he was able to do all of those, what he claims to be able to be doing, whether it's letting the sky rain, letting the land bring out its agriculture, or any of these things, then he would be at least able to be fix his creation with his one of poked eye and the other eye that he's blind with, and the other eye that is floating out. That is number one. Two, if he were to be a god, at least he would, for one of them, he would be able to be, he would be better in his creation than all of the creations around him. That's number one. Number two, he would also be able to fix his shortcomings in his body. So that's two logical things. And it is not logical that the creation is better from the creator in the appearance or in the creation. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be inside the creation that is created, you know? So he cannot be along with the system that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, the creator cannot be in there because he is not part of it. He is the one that made the laws and everything. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, so let's go for the next one. The Messenger ﷺ focused on his being one-eyed because being one-eyed is a visible sign which will be recognized by the scholar and the ordinary man, and by those who cannot follow rational arguments. But those who are knowledgeable will be able to recognize him and see him for what he really is. Type the Dajjal, ability to create fitna, tribulation. Let's talk about that. One of those is سرعة انتقاله في الأرض, the ability to travel rapidly throughout the earth. And we said that he has a dabba. And we said the word dabba that actually refers in the Arabic language. So will it be a mule that he'll be going on? Allahu A'lam. Will it be something like a technology that can something that can, like an airplane or something like that. He'll be able to be flying from one place to another in a very, very fast way. Allahu A'lam. But we know that he'll be going really fast, and that's what will make him be able to go into so many places in very, very short times. Like the Dajjal, and the idea is the hadith that was referring to, that he will be going to every city and every land. Does that mean every city and every land? I mean, if we go to Palestine right now, for example, you have so many cities and villages and everything. But it doesn't have to mean that it's only that same city, but it could be the main cities in every country or any place, or the main ones that have effect in those areas, you know? So it doesn't have to be like he has to go to Washington, D.C., or like Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park and all that, and then he has to go to Silver Lake and whatever. No, I mean, I'm talking for those in Minnesota, you know, like in every place. But it could mean that he is going to the main ones that are around the world, that he is able to collect as many followers, you know, in those areas that affect in the world. So that could be also a meaning. As I've said before, like we said before, there's when I said that he will, when we were translating the ayah of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, when he built the ark, and then the ayah said that the rain filled the whole land. So we said that the word al-ard, which means the land, it could refer in the Arabic language, it's a general word. It could mean a certain area, and we call that the land, and it could be the land, meaning the whole face of the earth. So, you know, so it could be in general that he will not leave a city that he goes to, meaning that he will not leave a city on earth that's, you know, considered to be yani worthy of affection, to gain as many followers as he can, you know. So we don't expect him to go to the villages, every village, but he will be going to the main cities that will be affecting, yani connecting as much followers as he can to support his tribulation on this earth. But the Dajjal will claim to be divine. He will be given the ability to perform astounding feats, which will be a great trial for the people. Like one of them is the ability to travel rapidly throughout the earth. According to the hadith of Nawas ibn Sam'an, in Muslim, the Prophet was asked about the speed of the Dajjal movement throughout the earth. He said, it will be like the clouds driven by the wind. And that's so much close to, the explanation of airplanes right now, or any aircraft, or that right now, something clouds, that's where the airplanes travel. Messenger of Allah, that he will travel around the earth and will not leave any city without entering it, apart from Mecca and Medina. According to the hadith of Anas narrated in al-Bukhari and Muslim, there will be no city which the Dajjal will not enter apart from Mecca and Medina, according to the hadith. But over here it says according to hadith of Mecca and Medina. But when because we've been studying this for such a long time, there's also hadith that, a hadith in other books. Also, so many ulama said that these books are sahih, and one of those is in the Sahihain وغيرهما عن أنس بن مالك. أنس بن مالك the Prophet ﷺ said, there's no land that Dajjal will not touch, will not touch, except Mecca and Medina. He will not touch them and will not go into them. And in Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal, it's a book Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he said that he does not enter four masjids: Masjid al-Haram, which is Mecca; Masjid al-Madinah al-Munawwara; Masjid al-Tur; and al-Masjid al-Aqsa. Al-Hadith also has a Sahih isnad. It's a Sahih isnad according to al-Arnaut. And we also have another one here said لا يق... okay. Uh, okay. Uh, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said لا يقرب الدجال. Dajjal does not enter four masajid. One of them is the Masjid al-Haram, Mecca, of course, المسجد مسجد المدينة ومسجد الطور, and the Masjid of al-Tur, which is in Sinai. Most likely, you have to understand that I said before that the word al-Tur, we have like a few masajid or a few places in Palestine called al-Tur, but the one al-Tur that is most familiar in Al-Quran Kareem is Tur Sinai. Okay, and المسجد الأقصى. الهيثمي في المجمع أحمد Imam Ahmad and his رجال ورجاله رجال الصحيح said that this hadith is also صحيح. Okay, we have other people also saying that this hadith as well is صحيح, referring to that he will not be entering the Masjid al-Aqsa and Masjid al-Tur as well. Is there a masjid in Al-Tur? I don't know, to be honest, if there's a masjid in Al-Tur or not. I know that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam went to bring the Ten Commandments from close to Jabal al-Tur over there and everything, but I've never been there. It's in Sinai in Egypt right now, near the borders of Gaza, and I don't have very much information about that. You can put Masjid al-Tur on YouTube in Sinai, and you can see what you can find there, and you'll see this very deserty mountain over there, and they'll show you around it. I think there's also a church there or something like that. So a very ancient place. According to the hadith of Abu Umama, narrated by Ibn Majah, those are all writers and ulama hadith. These are scholars of hadith that did very outstanding job of searching for the Sahaba and the Tabi'een that memorized the hadith and that had them. It wasn't only memory by the hadith and the sunnah was not only memorized by the hearts or the heads, okay? It was also documented and written and preserved by writing, okay? And also by witnesses who heard these hadith and to be sure about these hadith that were written. And they were not given to normal, they were not taken as witnesses from normal people. Talking about scholars here, learning from scholars and sheikhs, learning from sheikhs, one giving to the another. And over here, we're talking about narrated Ibn Majah. This is a alim. Abu Umama, another alim. Ibn Khuzaymah, another alim. You're talking about people that used to sit in a masjid with 10,000 people and thousands of people going to see these people and learning the hadith from them. And the narration of the hadith, you would see this person said he heard from that person, that he heard from that person. Each one of those, there are certain books, they're called the books of Rijal al-Hadith, the men's of the book. And we know each one who was born, if they met this person or not. Like, for example, Ibn Majah, who's the Jew, the scholars of Ibn Majah, who did he learn from, where he lived, when he was alive, when he passed away, who are his students. We have all of that documented, and all of the men's of the hadith and the narrations have been, we have the documentation of their life and when they were born, when they passed away, who they took ilm from, did they go to that city, what the hadiths did they take from this alim or that alim, everything. We have all of that documented in books. It could be a whole big, those books are tens, like more than 1,000 books just talking about these narrators and the history of those narrators, and to see if they really met these people or not. And one of the ways that they would say that this hadith is sahih or da'if is if, for example, I would narrate, like, for example, Rihab narrated that she heard Aysha, that she heard that Aisha heard, for example, Maryam, and then they would say, for example, well, Rihab heard from Aisha because it was documented that they learned from each other and they lived in the same time period. But they would say, well, Aisha can't narrate from Maryam because Aisha, for example, she didn't meet in person this person, and that way, because Aisha didn't, for example, meet Maryam, they would say that this whole hadith is considered da'if, which is weak, because we don't have a dalil, any proof proving that there is any meeting between these two individuals, these two narrators. So in that way, they would judge this hadith to be weak, because in this biography of these people, yeah, and the judging of these hadith is not nowadays. These judging of these hadith were judged by the scholars long time ago, and they would tell us this hadith is da'if. And all the hadith that we see around us have been judged 1,000 years ago, and the ulama actually told us, and Ibn Majah said it's da'if because this person didn't meet that person. Ibn Majah said it's da'if because that person, as he grew older, he had dementia, and he started forgetting. So we don't know when he narrated this hadith. Was it when he was mentally and stably, and his mind was set, or did he grow up? So he stopped taking, even though he had a very good history of being a good person and a good memory, but they don't know when he narrated this hadith. Was it when he grew older or something? And some would differentiate between that. So going into the hadith, when I tell you it's a hadith, it's not just a saying that you find in the middle of books of history, that you find a neglected book here and there and you don't know. Every hadith and every name of a alim in front of you that you see while we are taking these things, we have books that translate all of his life, all of his books, all of his shuyukh, his sheikhs, all of his students, when he died, how he lived, how his manners were, to the point when they saw somebody eating in the street or something, they would say, we don't take his hadith because we saw him eating in the street, and that was considered at that time when people used to have manners, and when people used to follow the sunnah of not eating in the streets and everything, that was considered مخالف للمروءة, which means يعني not decent for their appearance, and eating in the street in front of everybody. So we don't want to go into turn it into a hadith class, but when I say these names, we are saying some names that have been in the hadiths. We are saying hadith that have been already judged as hadith sahih or daif or whatever judgment we give to this hadith by 1,000 years ago by ulama. And all those names of ulama, we know who they are, and it's just not a hadith that you just find throughout old history books and that have been neglected. No, we know these hadith, and we have copies of the books, and we have copies of even Sahih al-Bukhari. We have very old copies of Sahih al-Bukhari, very old copies of all of those books. We have the original, the archives, and all those hadith. Right. He will not approach any of their gates. Sorry about that. He will not leave any part of earth without entering it. Talking about the Dajjal here. And prevailing over it. Apart from Mecca and Medina, I said also Tur and Masjid al-Aqsa, he will not approach any of their gates, but he will be met by angels with unsheathed swords. Okay, talking about Mecca and Medina, and of course referring to al-Aqsa and al-Masjid al-Tur. Type. He has a paradise and he has a fire. His paradise and his fire. جنته وناره. Like, who wants to read about his paradise and his fire? We have hadiths here about him. Yeah, Rihab, are you ready, or are you still with your kids?
I can read. I'm still with them, but I can read.
Yallah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. One of the things with which the Dajjal will confuse the people will be the fact that he will have with him things that look like a paradise and a hell, and things that look like a river of water and a river of fire.
Now, the thing is over here, honestly, to be honest, Yani, um, after interpreting so many of the signs of the powers of the Dajjal, this how can we as modern day history, modern day time, say that, interpret the Jannah and the Nar? We can tell you that he is able to tell the sky to rain, and then they send airplanes, and then they put this chemical on it, and then the clouds will rain, because he will be coming in a time being when there's clouds in the skies. But we can tell you about that he has big caravans of water and food and qamh and bread. And we can tell you, it's like seeing all those humanitarian aid. We can tell you that he's besieging the cities and the villages and everything. But how could we interpret that he has a paradise and he has a fire? You know, how could we interpret that? Okay. Is it bombings? You know, is it bombings? Is it interpreting? Is it really a paradise that we see it as a paradise, and a real fire that we see it as a fire? And then you go Jannah. Is it referring to that people will be, that he will be burning people, and then when they pass away, they will go to Jannah, and then the what is paradise is going to be nar, is going to be fire, meaning that they will be burning in fire after they pass away. Allahu A'lam what that means. Is it the fitna? Is it referring to a real fire, a real paradise, is it referring? Allahu A'lam. But we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us that he has a paradise and he has a fire, that you can see it in front of you, that this is a Jannah. Is it referring to that he'll take people that are following him into beautiful like gardens and beautiful places to live in, and open the dunya for them to do whatever they want? But in reality, what is the worth of the dunya when they're living into all this hell of fasad and tribulation? And yet again, the fire is, for example, the people that are burning in Gaza, they're going, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, on Jannah, to Jannah. Is it referring to that? Allahu A'lam. But we have to be prepared that his amount of technology and amount of fitna and tribulation that he is using is beyond what we as individuals have, because he will be supported by the governments right now, the West. And remember when we said before that uh we said the malhama comes, we said Tahrir Bayt al-Maqdis. You have to remember what's going on to understand why and how it's happening. Now, the Fath Bayt al-Maqdis, the opening of Bayt al-Maqdis, and then clashes with the West, with the Rome, and then that will result to making a big khilafah in Bayt al-Maqdis and Bilad al-Sham. An enemy comes from the east, the West asks help with the Muslimin to fight the enemy coming from the east. They win, and then while they're coming back from winning from that enemy from the east, Allahu A'lam who it is, عدو من خلفكم من ورائكم. What happens is the West stabbed from the back, and then they gather 1,080 flags, or 80 goals, or whatever, 80 regions or 80 flags, each one under 12,000 fighters, all in the northern part of Dabiq, in a place called Dabiq, in northern part of Syria, southern part of Turkey, near Aleppo. Okay, they will fight the Muslimin there. The Muslimin will split into three. Okay, and we said what happens after that, and then the Muslimin will win the Malhama. We said after that, after the Malhama, 6 years, count 6 years, we will regain Al-Qustantiniya, which is Istanbul, by 70,000 of the reverts coming from Europe. They're from Bani Ishaq. They will come to Istanbul, and say La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar 3 times. How the 3 times going to be? Allahu A'lam. It's something that everyone says, and it will be like groups of groups saying it, and they will go back to the Muslimin. After Fath al-Qustantiniya, 1 year after the opening of Qustantiniya, Istanbul, 1 year comes the Dajjal. Opening the Qustantiniya means that they regained the first, and we said that the Qustantiniya is half of it on one side, Europe, and half of it is on the other side of the ocean, or it's the Mediterranean Sea, on the Asian part, which is Turkey right now, and we said the other part is on the European side. So already they started going into Europe. So before the Muslimin continue their way to Europe, the Dajjal will scream and come out and يعني try to prevent the Muslimin from opening Europe, and they go for this first call, for that call, and try to open and come with 70,000 of the Yahud from Khurasan, from Asfahan. Okay, so they'll be coming from that. So why are they coming? What's the reason of the coming? Is to prevent the opening of the Muslimin of all Europe and continuing the Fath of the Islami around the whole world. So, what we're saying here, okay, so he has a paradise and he has a fire. In Muslim, can we read this here? Yeah, I have in Muslim, it is narrated that Hudayfa said, the Messenger ﷺ said,
With him, the Dajjal will be a paradise and a hell, but his hell fire will be paradise, and his I apologize.
paradise,
Uh,
that's all right,
yes.
don't worry.
But his fire will be cool water, and his water will be fire. The
Nah.
report by Muslim adds, so do not expose yourself to ruin.
Yeah, so Nabi ﷺ told us before that, what are we ordered to do? Now, as we said before, remember when we talked about the Jabal of the mountain of gold in Iraq that will be exposed after the drying of the Furat River? We said that in general, it is halal to take from the money. It is halal to that. But when the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam orders us not to take from it, then the hukum becomes something else. When he warns us, don't get near it, then the hukum comes something else. This is an order from the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam 1,400 years ago to the people of end of time. When you see that, get away from him. So when we see a Dajjal, do we go there and ask, you're the Dajjal? It's only going to be one person that is going to be facing him, which is the man from Al-Madinah. And the rest of the Muslimin were ordered to get away from the Dajjal and not to face him at all. According to a report narrated by Muslim in his Sahih, and Muslim, as I said before, is also a alim. The two most important books of hadith are Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, number 2. So it's the Quran, Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Those are the 3 most important books. Number 1, of course, the Quran. There's no doubt about any word or any ayah or anything, but Bukhari or Muslim come after that. Like Hudayfa related, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, I am the most knowledgeable about what the Dajjal will have with him. He will have 2 rivers. One will appear to be white water, and another will appear to a raging fire. If anyone is put to the test, let him go to the one which he thinks it is fire. Then let him close his eyes, tilt his head down. Okay, if you're put in a situation, close your eyes, tilt your head down, and drink from it, for it is cool water. Is it going to be a karama for the mu'mineen? Is it going to be a miracle for the mu'mineen? According to the details, what we see here, it's going to be a karama for the mu'mineen. When you're reading the hadith, you can't interpret it when it becomes in details, and he's telling you so much details like this, to be honest with you. You know, you can say, yani, according to modern technology, when we talk about that the Dajjal will have the ability to not bring back, to yani, seek help from a certain way to bring someone that will look like your mother or your deceased mother and father, and then make you think that those are your parents, and those parents, those images that you see in front of you will tell you, follow him, he's your Lord. Okay. The thing is, now, right now, we know that there are technologies that can bring, for example, any picture from the past, they can actually even see that يعني uh when you're just scrolling down on social media, that they give you, if you have like an old picture, you can make this picture to become, moving, and seeing these pictures, like you'll find a woman on a bicycle, just a picture, old 70s or 60s picture, and then by using this app, you can see her moving and smiling and talking and everything with this, uh, like as if it's in real life. So if this is technology right now, what are we expecting uh, years to come? So we could interpret that, but about the river and the fire, is it really what it is? Yani fire and paradise? Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam what it is. But we know that there's a hadith also about the Dajjal. Now, the Muslimin will free Palestine, but the hadith referring to the Dajjal, that uh, that even the hajar, even the rocks, the stones will, and the trees will say, "O Muslim, Ya Abdullah, O servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Abdullah, there is a Yahudi behind me, come and kill him." This this hadith, this hadith is going to happen in the period of the Dajjal. So over here we see karamas, okay? So it's going to be a different era of time. We have Sayyidina Isa coming down. Okay, we have is somebody called it Dajjal, that every prophet from Sayyidina Adam warned its people about him. Okay, so uh, will we be seeing karamas and miracles for the mu'mineen happening? Yes. What does it mean that the rocks and the trees will be saying, "Ya Muslim, Ya Abdullah, there, oh Muslim, Ya Abdullah, come, there's a Yahudi behind us." Will it be really the rocks will be talking and saying, "There's a Yahudi behind us"? Or will be, some ulama said, it might be referring to the people that are working in the rocks, which is the builders, and it might be referring to the people, the gardeners that are working with the trees. Okay? So it's kind of understanding, what's going on. But Allahu A'lam, it could be really karamas that are happening. And we did see in the Quran, we have heard in the Quran al-Kareem, in the Hadith, that Sahaba, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Haneen al-Jid'a, that a tree talked to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the camel went to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, told him that, his owner is not treating him well, that he's making him work too hard. We've heard, we've seen other hadith about these things. And for the time being of Sayyidina Isa coming, something like that going to be expected? Yes, we expect all of that to be happening. It's the fitna that that all the prophets warned their nations of, and we actually seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from الدجال, and all the nations, all the anbiya told their nations, the ummas, to seek refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Dajjal. So karamat will be possible at that time, and it's possible at every time. We still have people that have karamat. You have people that are taken out from under the rubble that are still alive. We have people that even in the wars of Muslim places and other places in the world, we've seen people, and I've read books of people talking about karamat, that things used to happen, and they'll be bombed and coming out and just wiping out the sand from them in a 20-meter hole from a bomb from the Soviet Union, and the Afghanis will just get up and just wipe down the sand from them and nothing to touch them, you know, while everything is in destruction all around them. They'll just get up and continue as if nothing happened. So we have seen karamat before and heard of so many of the karamat. And as Muslimin, we believe in something called a karama for the mu'min. But according to another report in Muslim, so we say in Muslim, يعني Sahih Muslim, from Hudhayfa said Dajjal will emerge and with him there will be water and fire. What the people will think water will be burning fire, what the people will think to be fire will be cool, sweet water. Whoever among you is put to the test, let him jump into the which he thinks is fire, for it is good, sweet water. It is clear from the text that the people will not know the real nature of that which the Dajjal has with him. Okay? What they see will not be real. In fact, it will be the opposite of what it appears to be. Hence, in the sum of the hadith narrated in Muslim, it says he will bring with him something like paradise, something. Okay, so over here it's telling us something like paradise and something like hell. So, can we interpret here that it's not a paradise and a hell? You know? So, what is it? Something like a paradise? Is it the attribute of the paradise? Food, water, housing, safety, and hell, torture, prison, whatever, all of those things. Can we interpret that? You know? Allahu A'lam. But yet again, uh, to not go for his fitnas and his tribulations that he's bringing forward to you, and remember that what he is giving you and what you think is good is going to be hell, and what he is telling you that he is warning you, if you don't believe him, it is hell, it is going to be Jannah. Okay, but let's continue. He will seek the help of the shayateen. Okay, undoubtedly, who wants to read this part? Sister Maryam, would you like to read with us? Okay. Who would like to read with us? Ikram, would you like to read with us? Right. He will seek the help of the shayateen. Who would like to read with us? Aisha, would you like to read? Yusuf.
Uh, he will
Yalla
seek
ya
the help.
Aisha.
He will seek the help of the shayateen. Undoubtedly, the Dajjal will seek the help of the shayateen. It is known that the shayateen do not serve anyone except the one who is the most untruthful and misguided, and who is enslaved to something other than Allah. In Sunan Ibn Majah, Sahih Ibn Huzaymah, and Musdarak al-Hakim, it's narrated with a Sahih Isnad from Abu Umama, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, part of his fitna will be that he will say to Bedouin, do you think that if I resurrect your father and your mother for you, you will bear witness that I am your Lord? He will say yes. Then a shayateen will appear to him in the form of his father and mother and will say, my son, follow him, for he is your Lord.
So that's a fitna. And I said before that we do, right now, they do have the hologram that they can actually tell you, tell me the picture who you want, and then you can actually think that this is in front of you. So, and right now, with people being so naive right now, that as we can see right now, if we go back to right now, something called ilm al-taqa, which is what they call the science of energy or whatever it is. You'll find people that even in the Arab Peninsula, seeking refuge to rocks and thinking that this rocks will bring you positive energy and anything like that. So the problem is that this is actually shirk, because no rock, no nothing on earth will bring you something and can bring you any good or any bad. And thinking that a rock brings you positive energy or brings you good luck while you're carrying it, while you're putting it as a necklace, or putting it as a bracelet, and then or thinking that this rock, what they call that, they say that they brought it from ancient whatever, somewhere in India, or from the Tibet, or from the Himalayas, or they brought it from China somewhere, that the ancient whatever. Nothing makes it holy. Just because it is ancient and it is known in some place, that does not make it true. Because if we see in the Quran, there are many ayat referring to that they were following their ancestors. And the ayat in the Quran said, if their ancestors did, لا يعقلون شيئا ولا يهتدون, if their ancestors were misled, and were not did not have brains, and were not thinking, and they were لا يهتدون, and they were misguided, does that mean that they follow the ancient, and they follow the ancestors with what they did? So this is part of the shirk, and it's going little by little in the communities, like especially in the Emirat, and also the new generations that are thinking that there's something called, especially in the Arab world, and probably also in the West, where they think that this brings you positive energy, and part of it is also yoga and these things, that this is a brings you good luck, and that you put it, and you just feel the earth, and then you feel the skies, and then you just, and this is also all part of shayateen, and part of everything, and part of yani isti'ana, and seeking refuge without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A Muslim seeks refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in Iraq, not with calling the ancestors in the past. This is all isti'ana bishayateen, taking refuge with shayateen, seeking refuge with the past, with the ancestors, and everything is all shirk. It's all haram. If they were able to do something for themselves, they would have saved themselves from death, and would be able to do it. And they were living on earth, and they were not able to change their own situations. How can they change your situation when they are dead, and they have passed away, and their bones have become dust and everything like that? They are more helpless in doing anything to themselves than doing anything to you or to us, or doing anything. This is all of that imagination of, oh, I saw this, oh, I saw that, a breeze just went, a candle just turned off, and everything. This is all the actions of jinn and shayateen. Make people think that they are doing something, that they are seeking refuge, but it's really, they are actually seeking refuge with the shayateen and the jinn, and they are actually bringing them more astray. If you go back to Surah Al-Jinn, okay, you'll find the jinn saying that they were seeking refuge. Let me just go bring the ayah for you over here. وأنه كان رجال من الإنس يعوذون برجال من الجن فزادوهم رهقا, that there were men from the jinn, from the ins, seeking refuge from men from the jinn, and they have brought them more astray. They have not given them anything, have not done to them any help or anything. So what does that have to do with okay, we were talking about something. What was that have to do with what we're seeing right now? That they're seeking with shayateen is, it it doesn't mean, okay, when people are more vulnerable and more accepting of these ideas of seeking refuge in this, and seeking refuge in Iraq, and this will do this, and this will do that. And we've seen in right now what they call the festivals that they're doing in Riyadh, and they're doing in Mecca and Medina and everything in Saudi Arabia right now, that they've even brought back the idols that were worshipped in the Jahiliyyah time, and considering that to be cultural history, and considering that to be something that they should be proud of, and that they have a history, yani that is goes back to thousands of years. Everyone has history, but you know, the history is only honorable when it's good, so it's on the right path. But if you tell them you have a history of being in jail, then it's not something they should be proud of, to be honest. So uh and they're actually trying to tell the people that instead of going to bring rocks from Buddha, from India and China and everything, we already have rocks, which is um uh we already have rocks you know, that were worshipped and that were brought good luck in the Arab Peninsula before Islam. So look how they're bringing people astray, and they're bringing them back literally, slowly, gradually, in the name of culture, in the name of history, in the name of, you know, um, yani positive energy and all those. They are literally slowly bringing back people to idol worshiping. And we know that there's a hadith that says, also from the signs of end of time, I did not mention throughout the book, that uh, uh, the Yawm al-Qiyamah will not come until a nation from the Arabs or a village from the Arabs will worship the idols, will go back to worshiping the idols. So we will find a nation from the Arabs worshiping the idols. And we will find also another hadith saying that حتى تضطرب آليات دوس على ذو الخلصة, or something like that, which means until the women of Daus will be dancing, will be shaking their behinds in front of an idol called uh, let me just make sure about the hadith. حتى تضطرب. Okay, just making sure about. طيب حتى تضطرب حتى تضطرب آليات نساء دوس حول ذي الخلصة. Okay, with the khulsa uh, is an idol that was worshipped by Daus a long time ago. And it says that one of those hadith will be that one of the signs of time was there will be a nation from the Arabs that will go back to idol worshipping. Okay, and we see that in Emirat, that they already built a big Buddha uh, temple, and they built you know, in Emirat. We've seen also people with hijab, women and men going there and also taking what they call blessings and worshiping into those temples. And also, we will find people from a tribe called Daus in the Arab Peninsula. Also, they will be, Yawm al-Qiyamah will not come until we will find women from Daus. Daus, it's a tribe in Arab Peninsula. They will be shaking their behinds in front of this idol. Okay, so it's more of a yani worshipping kind of a yani ritual or something like that around this idol. So are we seeing this coming? We're seeing this coming really, really fast. 10 years ago, that was not possible. But right now, in just 10 years, we've seen them right now bringing back the idols and the festivals right now. So all of that will make the idea, and they don't bring it up to you as you are worshiping the idol or anything. They bring it up that we are bringing good luck and good energy. Okay, that is shirk by itself. If you believe that this rock brings you good or bad, then that is shirk. And not all of the people in the Jahiliyyah time only used to believe in idols. If you go back to the Quran, it will tell you that when the Muslimin used to talk to the kafirin, how can you worship a rock? They will tell you, we do not worship the rock itself. We worship the spirit in that rock that gets us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they believe in this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heavens, but yet again, they say that this rock will remove the harm from us and will bring us good. And that is literally what positive and negative energy is. Okay? Believing that this thing will bring you good and that will remove harm from you is shirk, and you are making partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of that is tolerance and يعني tolerating with the idea and the aqidah of the Muslimin and accepting the idea of, okay, this brings me good. Come on, it's just talking about positive energy and stuff like that. Okay, little by little, there they are. And then there comes the Dajjal and tells you, you do this for me, and he'll tell you, oh, I'll show you your mother, and then you just have to worship me. When you already tore down, you already have torn down all of the pillars of Iman. What's left? What's left is there to discuss? So this is what we're talking about, is celebrating Christmas is haram. No discussion about that. Celebrating the other holidays of the kuffar is haram. Because when you tolerate, this is when it becomes easy. It's not a big deal. It's not, he doesn't really want to worship him. He just thinks it's going to bring him something good or something bad. So that's what I'm saying is, when you really put the borders and the red lines and you just say, out of the question, haram yani haram. Haram means it's haram. Then you know your kids know their limits. Then the kids know, and we as Muslims know, this is the limits. Okay? So no one comes up and says dating Muslimin halal. Now, what does that have to do with it? It's the borders, sisters. It's the borders. And then it comes up to you, date a Muslim woman, halal. There is no such thing as dating a Muslim woman that is halal. There's only one way, which is knocking on the door and asking her wali. That's how it goes. Okay, you met her somewhere and then Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. You work together in the same job as doctors or whatever you are, nurses in the same clinic or whatever like that, and you got to know her. You don't have private talks by yourselves. Then if you want to ask her, you can tell her, oh, I'm thinking about going to your wali and asking for your hand for marriage. And then you go to her wali and you do it that way. But dating and doing it, there's no such thing as that. There's limits, there's ways where it's done, and all of those going around and doing all these things is considered haram. No tolerance in the haram. You tolerate in the haram, you pay the price on the other hand and somewhere else. So hududullah, the limits of Allah, and the hudud of Allah, the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not a joke for us to trespass. Because we will, كما تدين تدان, we will pay the price for everything we do in the dunya and in the akhirah. We have to teach our kids and teach ourselves that we have to take these borders in consideration. Because you trespass, you pay a price on something else. Okay, but let's continue here. So, as I said, that there's over here, the Dajjal will be able to seek refuge with the jinn and the shayateen. And I said before that right now, even if it doesn't, of course, the shayateen right now and jinn are right now, even a small magician can seek refuge in the shayateen. And we know that the Yahud are most ones that are using the black magic and using all of that. And if it's not shayateen, it's not the shayateen of the jinn, it's shayateen, it's also shayateen, the human shayateen. Okay, who wants to read this paragraph? I'm on the trials with which, go ahead, Sister Rehab.
Sorry, Ustada, just a few minutes, please. I just have to put my
Okay, okay. Sister Aysha, you want to read with us?
Among the trials with which Allah will test his slaves is that the Dajjal will command the sky to send down rain, and it will do so. He will command the earth to bring forth its vegetation, and it will do so. He will call the animals, and they will follow him. He will command the ruins to bring forth their buried treasure, and they will respond.
Treasures. Now, okay, so I said before, over here it said about the sky. He will command the sky to send down rain. We said that already happens in Palestine when there's a holiday for the Yahud and it has to rain for them to feel like they're getting forgiveness. So they have the certain holiday in October each time. It's when the clouds come in Palestine. If it doesn't rain, they'll send a helicopter for it to even sizzle a little bit of rain for them to feel like they have gained their forgiveness. And we said that they've done that by technology and they can still do it now, but they tell us not to get close to the rain. Here we will come, he will also command the earth to bring forth its vegetations. And we said also right now that when the land becomes in a situation of only being able to bring out crops and vegetables with chemicals, the year you don't give it chemicals, it will not give you fruit. It will not grow. Why? Because the fruit is actually growing from the chemicals and from the things that you're feeding it. If you do not feed it, the land, it will, the land is very weak because it's growing every year. So the land is very poor. The only reason that they're being, that the land it's giving you fruit is by the chemicals that they are feeding them. Now, when the Dajjal takes power for those 40 days, if he stops all of those support by those chemicals that they're giving the lands or by the water when they're yani watering the plants and everything, then immediately all the vegetation stops. Okay? So, and as we said before, the most biggest fitna for the Dajjal is going to be in Bayt al-Maqdis, in around this area, because this is where he will be building, or he will be wanting to build his kingdom, which is in al-Masjid al-Aqsa and in Palestine. This is where they believe that the kingdom of the Dajjal will be at. Okay? And this is where the center is going to be. Okay? So as we said, technology right now, can they do that? Yeah, that is possible. Because when the land only grows on chemicals, you don't give chemicals, you don't give all those things to feed the land, it will not give you crops. And it will do so. He will call the animals and they will follow him. Okay? Uh, when he has all the source of food and he has all the source of, feeding the animals and everything, that's totally normal. He'll command the ruins to bring forth their buried treasures. But uh, is it because of the modern technology that he has, that he will tell, the people that, for example, right now, for example, places in Africa, they're not able to dig out and carry out their treasures. But with the technology that they have, they're able to find where the treasures are and where the mountains of gold and stuff like that, they can find them. Is it really him telling the treasures to come out and they will come out? Or is it really that the technology that he has will be, he will be able to do so? Or is it because, like, for example, in Gaza, we have so many things in Gaza that destroyed everything. They're not able to even get benefit of the water, the treasures, or anything they have. Even the oil that is in the ocean next to Gaza, are they able? That's considered a treasure right now. They even call the oil the black gold. Are they able to benefit from that treasure of oil, of gas, for example, in the ocean of Gaza, next to Gaza, or under beneath Gaza? Are they able to take it? No, they're not. Why? Because they don't have the technology to do so. But is the Dajjal or the people that are supporting the Dajjal, are they able to do so? Do they have the treasures of that? Yeah, they do. The treasures long time ago are something, and the treasures right now are something else. A long time ago, when they used to say treasure, gas was not considered a treasure, and black oil was not considered a treasure. Treasure was considered gold and silver at that time. But right now, when we say a very big well of gas under Gaza, they made big wars about how to forget to get that. Okay, so that's also a treasure. So he will bring forth their buried treasure, and they will respond. Okay, in Muslim, it is narrated. And Nawas ibn Sam'an, that the Prophet ﷺ said he will come to the people and call them, and they will believe in him and respond to him. He will command the sky to send down rain, and it will do so. He will command the earth to bring forth its vegetation, and it will do so. In the evening, their livestock will come back to them with their humps high, their uppers full of milk, and their flanks stretched. Then he will come to some other people and call them. They will reject what he says. He will leave them, and they will suffer drought, and they have nothing left of their wealth. Look at what it says here. Nothing left of their wealth. He will pass through the wasteland and say, bring forth your treasure, and its treasure will follow him like a swarm of bees. Okay, in the Arabic translation of this hadith, let me tell you what it says here. Like, النار, because that's a very important thing in the Arabic translation. Not this one. Like, طيب ليس بأيديهم شيء من أموالهم. Over here it says over here it says uh, he will leave them and they will suffer drought. Okay, right now I said before in Palestine, that's what they did to Gaza. They just blocked the water and have nothing left of their wealth. They have nothing. Over here didn't say nothing left of their health. In the Arabic translation, in the Arabic original, it says ليس بأيديهم شيء من أموالهم. They have nothing in their hands, anything of their money. Okay? Right now, if you say anything wrong that you don't like, the government doesn't like, literally it will freeze your bank account. So do you have access to your money? No. Okay. Right now, people have, like, for example, in Gaza, they have big lands, they had villas, they had, lots of properties. Were they able to, they have all this property, but are they able to gain any of this wealth or of this property to benefit from it, to even bring them a bag of flour to serve their hunger and to uh, for them to eat, for their children, for their families? No. So what they did is, even the money or even the wealth, the way that they are controlling the world right now, and in bank accounts and transferring, allowing the transferring or transferring the money or not, made it into a way where they're not even capable, that they have control over you. You're not even capable of taking your own money. ليس بأيديهم شيء من أموالهم. Okay, they have nothing in their hands, anything of their money. That's controlling over here. And that's what we see over here. Do anything that the government does not please, immediately they will freeze your bank account. And you cannot take anything from it unless you go according to what they want. And that is what is going to be happening with the Dajjal. Like, he will pass through the wasteland and say, bring forth your treasure. Of course, like what they're doing right now. I mean, right now, you're saying, looking at Gaza, it's a wasteland. Right now, everything is torn down. Okay? And can anyone prevent, for example, if somebody right now went to the ocean next to Gaza and started mining and taking out the gas, can anyone stop them after that they've destroyed the whole city or the whole Gaza Strip? They can't do anything to them. Why? Because they brought them back. They brought them back hundreds or something years ago, where there's even the transportation is on horses, on donkeys, and on animals. So what are we talking about stopping them? So Are they able to take the treasures of the land? Yes, they are. And the treasure will follow him like a swarm of bees. Okay, so that's telling us how they are. It's so soothing to take everything. It becomes easy for them to block on the Muslimin and control their money, control everything, their food, their water, their natural resources, everything. Control it. Yet again, easy for them to take everything. Tells you how weak the Muslimin and weak that they will be. It's the system of the world that is enabling them to control the communities in that way, you know? Okay, he will kill that young man, then bring him back to life. Who wants to read this one? So there will be one young man from the Medina, okay, that will stand against al-Dajjal. Another of his fitness, he will be that he will kill that believer, or so it will appear to the people that he will claim that he has brought him back to life. In Bukhari, it is narrated, Abu Sa'id said, the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, spoke to us at length about the Dajjal. One of the things he told us that Dajjal will come and it will be forbidden for him to enter the gates of the Medina. He will camp at one of the barren tracts near Medina. On that day, a man will go out to meet him. Okay, so he's from the Medina al-Munawwara. Okay, who is the best of mankind? Over here it says Medina. Okay, okay. He gave over here the Islamic name. He said al-Medina. Remember when we said عمار بيت المقدس خراب يثرب, which means the flourishing of Bayt al-Maqdis will be the demolishing of Yathrib, and he used the word Yathrib, which referring to the Jahiliyyah name of al-Madinah. Okay, that is referring to, and that's what happens. And then one of the sisters asked the question, does that mean there will be no Muslimin? It'll be all munafiqeen? No, there will never be a time, except after all of the souls of the Umm will be taken. But during those times, all of the time, there will be mu'mineen in Medina, mu'mineen in Mecca, mu'mineen in the Arab Peninsula. Okay? And there will be the best army of the Muslimin that will be leaving the Medina, will come out from the Medina al-Munawwara. Okay? But at that time, he said, the person comes out from the Medina, referring to the mu'mineen that will be in the Medina. Okay? The Dajjal here, so he will camp on one of the barren tracts near Medina. On that day, a man will go out to meet him who is the best of mankind, or one of the best of mankind, and will say, I bear witness that you are the Dajjal, whom the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about. The Dajjal will say, do you think that if I kill this man, then bring him back to life, will you have any doubts concerning the matter? Concerning that, he will tell him, if I kill you and I bring him back, they will say, no. So he will kill him, then bring him back to life. He, the man, will say, by Allah, I have never been more sure about you than I am today. The Dajjal will want to kill him, but will not be able to do so. Now that's in the narration of of who? This is the narration of who? Al-Bukhari. Okay? Muslim narrated the same hadith that the Dajjal will emerge, a young man from the believers will set out to confront him. He will be met by the guards. So it doesn't matter. One of them he will meet guards, one of them doesn't meet guards. This is more details. The other one is less details. He will be met by the guards of the Dajjal, who will ask him, where are you going? He said, I'll be going to see this man who has emerged. They will say to him, do you not believe in our Lord? He will say, we know our Lord full well. They will say, kill him. Then one of them will say, Dajjal told us, didn't he forbid us to kill anyone without consulting him, meaning the Dajjal? So they will take him to the Dajjal, and when the believer sees him, he will say, so when the mu'min goes and confronts the Dajjal, he will say, O people, he will shout out to the people, O people, this is the Dajjal of whom the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke. So he's talking to who? This is going to be something public. Okay? Everyone's going to see this. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam does not tell us a hadith that something is going to be done in private that we'll not know about. If we at that time, we will see who this person is, and we will know who this person is, and we will see this conversation, and we will see, because he will be using him to try to make fitna of the mu'mineen. He will not do this in a secret way. He will try to do it in front of people, and media will be also a weapon for the Dajjal to try to convince the other nations or the other people that look what I can do. So this man confronts him and says, "Oh people, this is the Dajjal of whom the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke." The Dajjal will give orders that he be laid on the stomach. Then he will say, "Take him and beat him." He will be beaten severally on his back and stomach. Then the Dajjal will say, "Do you not believe in me?" So the believer will say, "You are the false Messiah." Then the Dajjal will issue orders that he be split with a saw, okay, from the parting in his hair to between his legs, all the way, okay? Then the Dajjal will walk between these two pieces. Now, how could we interpret that? There's no interpretation. He will literally be doing that. Allah Ta'ala A'lam. Then he will say to him, "Get up," and he will say, he will stand up. Now, in the hadith, it says, "Thumma." Thumma in the Arabic language means there's ala tarahi, which means that there's a period of time. Doesn't mean he will go put him into surgery and then he will cut him and then he will do this action and then immediately they will take him back to surgery and then put him back together, Allahu A'lam, or anything like that. Allahu A'lam. But the word thumma in the Arabic language means that if there is a period of time between this action and that action, he will order him to say, and he will stand up, and then the Dajjal will say to him, "Do you believe in me now?" The believer will say, "I'm only even more sure that you are certain about you," he will say. "O people, he will not be able to kill anyone after me." This man is confident what he's saying. He knows who he is, and after what he has seen, he discovered who he is from the hadith. He knows these hadith, and he knows that he is going to be the one after what has happened to him. He knows what's going to be happening. This is why he will say, "And he will not be able to kill anyone after me." Sorry about that. The Dajjal will seize him to kill him, but a shield of copper will be placed between his neck and his collarbone over here, and he will not be able to do anything to him. He will take him by his hand and blessed and cast him aside. And the people would think that he has thrown him into fire, but he will be thrown into paradise. The messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the Rasulullah said, he will be the greatest martyrs in the sight of the Lord of the world. Okay, so over here we can see that he is throwing him into the fire, that he claims to be the fire. But according to the hadith is telling us that he will be the greatest martyr in the sight of the Lord of the worlds. Now, the first hadith of the Bukhari, it said that he will not be able to touch him again. Okay, does that mean he will not be able to cut him in half and do the torture he did to him before? Or does that mean he will not be able to hurt him at all? Because we see here the hadith says he will be the greatest martyr. How do we remove this misunderstanding? One of them says he will not be able to hurt anyone else. And he said in the hadith on the top over there, it says, فَلَا يُسَلَّطُ عَلَيْهِ. The hadith says he will not be able, يعني, to hurt, to يعني, control him. Okay? And the other one says that he'll be the best of the greatest of the shaheed. So we'll be able to harm him or not? That's the question. So some ulama interpreted this hadith referring to that he will not be able to cut him in half, okay, and do this this drama thing of cutting him in half and then putting him back together, Allahu A'lam, with his surgery or whatever it is, or stuff like that. Okay, so that's the question. And some ulama say, you know, يعني he will die as a shaheed. Okay, because over here it says that he will be thrown into the hellfire, which he claims, but it will be paradise. Okay, so over here we see that he's going to die as a shaheed. And I said before earlier that when I said that interpreting the word of his hellfire and his paradise is the hellfire that he is telling us about it, like the bombings and all those, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaheed does not feel the pain when he passes away. This is one of the attributes of the shaheed, that he does not feel the pain when he dies as shaheed. So is it really that they are being bombed and whatever and stuff like that? And that because over here it says he will be greatest martyr. Okay. So Allahu A'lam, what is it? What it means? But to my understanding, that when he puts the mu'mineen into the fire, those that don't believe in him, or the ones that he wants to put them in the fire, um, I would understand, honestly, I would understand according even to this hadith that he will be putting them into torture of something, or they will probably die as shuhada and they will not feel it, and they will be literally going into Jannah because they will not be coming back to tell us what they have seen. Okay, and over here it says that he will be the greatest of shaheed at that time, meaning that he will die at this moment. But where will he emerge from? اللي هو الدجال. We're talking about Dajjal here. Okay, so Dajjal will come out from a place called Khurasan. Okay, the end of time will come from Persians, which is Iran, and that place already we still have a very big Jewish community in Khurasan. They will come back with عليهم الطيالسة, which means they will have the special hats of the Yahud. It's like a amema, but they call it a taylasan. Okay, so according to the hadith there by Tirmidhi, and also Tirmidhi is Imam of the Sunnah, Ibn Majah, an Imam of the Sunnah, Al-Hakim, Imam of the Sunnah as well, Ahmad, let me read that in Arabic, kind of mixing here. طيب Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, Al-Hakim, Ahmad, والضياء عند مختارة about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, طيب, stated the Messenger of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala told us that Dajjal will emerge from a land in the east called Khurasan. His followers will be people with faces like flattened shields. Like the people of Iran don't have flattened shields. So how do we understand that? Okay? People of Iran and people even in those areas don't have flattened faces of flattened shields. Will there be people following him from other places? Allahu A'lam. Will we be having people that will come like from other places following him? We don't know. But this is the attribute in Shakl Am in general, but who he really is will become apparent to the Muslim when he reaches a place between Iraq and Syria. So first, as I said before, he will come out and he will not declare to be a God unless he reaches the place. Little by little, he will start saying that he is God in a place in Iraq and Syria. According to a hadith of Muslim, Ibn Nawas, Ibn Sam'an, he will emerge from between Syria and Iraq and will spread mischief right and left. O slaves of Allah, stand firm from his fitna. But how long will he remain on earth? As we said before, it will be 40 days. First day will be like a year, second day will be like a month, third day will be like a week, and then fourth day will be like and the rest of days will be like the rest of your days. We'll talk about that next time, inshallah ta'ala. And that's enough for today, inshallah. I guess we'll leave this for questions and comments for those who want to ask questions and comments. And next time, sisters, for sisters that already have the class and are with us, the homework will be I did a screenshot, or I pictured the homework on the Gems of Light Signs of End of Time group. And inshallah, the homework will be for next time. And please send it privately for each one of you guys, and let's see how your reports will be like. And I'm ready for the questions. For everyone that wants to ask a question, you can jump to the mic or raise your hand. That's up to you. Go ahead, sisters. Any questions of the signs of end of time class? Today we took about the Dajjal. We talked about very many things today. And tomorrow we'll be talking about the followers of the Dajjal, the protecting of the Medina, next Wednesday. Mecca and the Dajjal, how to save yourself from the Dajjal, and the hadith regarding the death of the Dajjal, how he'll be killed, his fitna, and how the Yahud that are following him will die, the Muslims, the Aqidah of the Dajjal. We're talking about Ibn Sayyad and the Dajjal. So we'll be talking about very many things. And then we'll be talking after that about the coming of Sayyidina Isa. And of course, when we talk about Dajjal, immediately we talk about Sayyidina Isa. So khalas, so who would like to give us about what's coming next? First of it is going to be Fath Palestine, which is the liberation of Palestine. What's going to come after that? Yalla. Who wants to participate with us? Let's see if you guys have been paying attention. You got to understand the things that are coming. I'm talking about the signs of the big signs. I'm not talking about, the land of Arab Peninsula becoming green. Those are the minor signs. Okay, I'm talking about the big ones. Okay, we're talking about Fath Bayt al-Maqdis. After the opening of Palestine, what happens? Who would like to share? Okay, somebody wrote us something. Fath Bayt al-Maqdis, what will happen? Okay, Mahdi will come. Then what?
The Romans and
Fath Bayt
Muslims will
al-Maqdis.
fight from the common enemy.
I'm
East.
sorry?
The Muslims and the Romans will fight against a common
Before
enemy.
that, there's something else before it. Fath Bayt al-Maqdis. After Fath Bayt al-Maqdis, Palestine, something will happen. Will the West leave them alone? I'm trying to help. So the West won't leave the Muslimin alone. What will happen? There's going to be clashes between the Muslimin and the West that will result to happening what? A Khilafa Islamiyah. There will be a Khilafa Islamiyah after the opening of Bayt al-Maqdis again, after the liberation of Bayt al-Maqdis from the Yahud, which is right now. There will be a Khilafa Islamiyah in Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. That's what will be, okay? A Khilafa Islamiyah will occur. And in this Khilafa Islamiyah, exactly, in this Khilafa Islamiyah, then an enemy from the east will appear. The West will seek refuge with the Khilafah of the Muslimin in Bilad al-Sham, and they will fight this enemy from the east. When they come back, the West will stab from the back and immediately go in a place called Dabiq and fight the Muslimin. 1,000,000 troops of the Kuffar will stand there and fight the Muslimin in a battle called Al-Malhama. After the Malhama, what happens? The Muslimin will the Malhama, win the Malhama. Then what happens? After 6 years of the Malhama, what happens? You guys gotta know this one. After 6 years of the Malhama, what happens? You remember?
The Mahdi
Mhm.
say?
No, the Mahdi will lead the Malhama. After 6 years of the Malha, we won the battle of the Malhama. After 6 years of the Malhama will be
Going
the
to
opening of Constantinople, Constantinople, which is Istanbul right now. Okay. After 1 year of the opening of Constantinople, what will happen?
Dajjal comes.
The Dajjal comes. So it's just 1 year after the opening of Constantinople. Dajjal comes, Sidna Isa comes. Sidna Isa comes, Ya'juj and Ma'juj comes. And then see you in Jannah, inshallah. Okay. Inshallah, we'll continue next time, inshallah ta'ala. Any questions or comments, sisters?
Assalamu alaikum. I had a quick question.
Go ahead, Habibti.
It's not super related. I was just wondering, are you still doing the Quran class or no?
No, actually. I'm not doing the Quran class, honestly. I'm
Okay.
not doing the Quran. No, I'm not. I need a number, actually. I need a committed number for them, for the Quran class. I need a committed number so we can start the Quran class. But right now I don't have a